Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Gopi Janvalabha Girivardhari
Gopi Janvalabha Girivardhari
Yashodhanandana Brajana Ranjana
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 Jamalakera Vanachari
Yamunatira Vanachari
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Parivraja Jaya, Astro, Thraspat, Sissipan, Divine Grace, who's confounded Jaya, Chilla, Abhachan, Velu, Bhakti, Divine, John, Kapramaran, Ananta Koti, Bhajna, Velu, Krija, Namacharya, Shilhridasa, Krija, Pram, Si, Kahav, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Si Advaita, Gadadara, Si Vasari, Sigora, Bhakti, Sisi Radha, Krishna Gopal, Gopinath, Syamakund Radha, Kund, Girigabadam, Krishna, Shabandavandam, Krishna, Simayapanavadam, Krishna, Gangamaya, Yamanamaya, Krishna, Simatitosa, Bhakti Devi, Krishna, Samaveda, Bhakta Veda, Krishna, Nitai Gopinath. All glory is to the Son of Devotees, all glory is to the Son of Devotees, all glory is to the Son of Devotees, all glory is all blessed to Guru and Guru. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchava Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vatsa Tattva Jaya Murtire Astapaye Svapadesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhava Itinai. So Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 4, Text 11, 12. Text 12, Canto 6 of the Shrimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 4, Text 12. The title of this chapter is The Hamsa Guya Prayers. Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Drisha Praksha Strihapati,
Drisha Praksha Strihapati,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam,
Grihi Agyanam Buddha Surit,
Grihi Agyanam Buddha Surit,
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Drisha Praksha Strihapati,
Drisha Praksha Strihapati,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam,
Grihi Agyanam Buddha Surit.
Grihi Agyanam Buddha Surit.
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Drisha Pakshma Striyapati,
Drisha Pakshma Striyapati,
Pati Prajana Bhikshunam,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam,
Grihajnanam Buddha Surit,
Grihajnanam Buddha Surit.
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu,
Drisha Pakshma Striyapati,
Drisha Pakshma Striyapati,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshuntam,
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam,
Giri Agyanam Buddha Surit.
Grihajnanam Buddha Surit.
Ladies?
Tokanam Pitaro Bandhu, Drisha Pakshma Striyapati Pati Pradhanam Vishanam Vilyayanam Udasurit.
Ladies, make it two so that, you know, it's equal rights and justice.
Toganam Vitaro Bandhu
Drisha Pakshma Striyapati
Drisha Pakshma Striyapati
Pati Prajanam Bhikshunam
Pati Prajanam Vikshunam
Vidyagyanam Udasurit.
Vilyayanam Udasurit.
Thank you very much. So word for word translation, then translation and purport. All by His divine grace, His confounded Acharya, Srila Bhakti and Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yeah, you're not glorifying this guy sitting here, Prabhupada. At least we should glorify him, isn't it?
Yes.
Tokanam
Toganam
of children. Pitara, the two parents. Bandhu, the friends. Drishaha, of the eye. Pakshma, the eyelid. Shriyaha, of the woman. Pati, the husband. Pati, the protector. Prajanam, of the subjects. Bhikshunam, of the beggars. Grihi, the householder. Agyanam, of the ignorant. Buddha, the learned. Surit, the friend. Translation. As the father and mother are the friends and maintenance of their children, as the eyelid is the protector of the eye, as the husband is the maintainer and protector of a woman, as the householder is the maintainer and protector of beggars, and as the learned is the friend of the ignorant, so the king is the protector and giver of life to all his subjects. The trees are also subjects of the king, therefore they should be given protection. Papa, please can let us repeat. As the father and mother are the friends and maintainers of their children. As the eyelid is the protector of the eye. As the husband is the maintainer and protector of a woman. As the householder is the maintainer and protector of beggars. And as the learned is the friend of the ignorant. So the king is the protector and giver of life. To all his subjects. The trees are also subjects of the king. Therefore, they should be given protection. This verse is on ecology. Is that correct? Vedic ecology. Okay, Papa. By the supreme will of the Supreme Personality of God, there are various protectors and maintainers for helpless living entities, vulnerable living entities. We're meant to be protected. I am one of them. The trees are also considered prajas, subjects of the king. And therefore the duty of the monarch is to protect even the trees, not to speak of others. The king is duty bound to protect the living entities in his kingdom. Thus, although the parents are directly responsible for the protection and maintenance of their children, the duty of the king is to see that all parents do their duty properly. Similarly, the king is also responsible for overseeing the other protectors mentioned in this verse. It may also be noted that the beggars who should be maintained by the householders are not professional beggars, but sannyasis and brahmanas to whom the householders supplied food and clothing. So I'm here for you, please. This verse is very good for me, man. Krishna, this is super nice. How I wish all verses were like this. Om Gyana Timuranda Sierra Gyana Tanasana Kaya Sakso Meditan Diana Situated in this time. Star feet one child called Patari Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishta Bhuttalese Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Itinam Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pacharya Yeshesha Sunyavadi Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Swami Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. So welcome to 26. This is. I'm sorry.
25%.
This is 25 First Avenue, Bhakti Center. I remember. I can't remember precisely when I came to the Bhakti Center last. I remember when I was Brahmachari in New Jersey, I was coming to New York to present a paper at the New York Political Science Association annual conference in 2004, 5, something like that. I think that time this devotee, this German devotee was the one here. Jaggi Purush, yeah. And one other guy who was here, I remember, was I beg your pardon? No, I'm not familiar with him.
Gadadhar Pandit.
Yeah, Gadadhar Pandit. Where's Gadadhar Pandit now?
He's here also in New Jersey. He'll be here today probably for a Sunday program.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it really been long when I came here last, and normally I don't travel to places even when I was. For instance, I've been in New York for 2 years. I've been in Queens for 2 years. Two consecutive years, 24 consecutive months. Yeah. I've been taking care of my health. But I do go to 26 Second Avenue, they're very friendly. So I go to places where I have friends. So let's go to the verse. This is a basic principle that is very intriguing for modern civilization, because now the whole planet is facing some challenges in terms of likely devastation due to deforestation. So, if you go to the background of this very subject matter, it's about the Pracetas. The Pracetas, they were performing some austerities, and when they came out from the sea, they found that the whole planet was covered with, bushes. Very austere people, very austere sadhus. They felt, what? They brought out, they showed their power, they brought out their, and they started burning the whole bush. They started deforestation. Instead, in modern language, they started deforestation. And there was an intervention. So they hearkened to the intervention, and it was said. But important factor in this very text specifically is about leadership. Leadership. What does leadership mean to you? What does it mean to us? When we hear of leadership, normally we are tempted to think about Raja Rishi. But who amongst us is Raja Rishi? Is there anyone here who is going to lead his community or his kingdom back to Godhead? First, you have to lead yourself back to Godhead, isn't it? If you want to give some charity, you have to have something to eat first, isn't it? If you don't have anything to eat, if you don't have any money, I mean, where is the 20% or 10, whatever percentage that you will save to give for charity? If you don't have a job, You don't have money if you're a brahmachari, or you're trying to be a brahmachari like me. I'm trying. I'm not there yet. So, if you're a poor, a temple, let me not see you because we don't have rats in our temples. Let's say if you're a church rat, even to get something to eat is a problem. Well, how are you going to give out charity? And therefore, basically, here in this text, the emphasis is being given for its basic instructions for the king. And we don't have monarchy these days. The system of leadership is different. We have different models of leadership. The question of Raja Rishi is completely out of the scope. We are not there. And we cannot be there in Kali Yuga. Therefore, there are different systems of, even our temples now, they are seeing the practicality of it. Now they are having co-GBCs instead of trusting just a whole congregation of people coming from different backgrounds and investing the energy in services, and then you give them into one person's hand who perhaps don't even know management, not to talk of leadership. You endanger your lives. So now we're beginning to realize something, and we are beginning to adopt a system where we have co-GBCs and all the rest of them. Sometimes we may learn from our mistakes. Therefore, the emphasis here is about protecting the constituency. I remember when I was doing some college program, and then some ladies in the class, they said, "Oh, you have to be our cause rep." I said, "Over my dead body." I said, "Over my dead body, I won't be a cause rep." He said, "What? We are beautiful ladies. We come to you begging you to be our cause rep, and you were hesitant?" I said, "It's not about beautiful ladies. It's a responsibility. It's about responsibility. So don't think you're going to influence me with your beauty." I said, "I know the responsibilities involved, and then therefore I'm not going to be a cause rep. Because whatever that happens in this class, I take 1/6 of the reaction." He said, "What?" I said, "You don't know the implications of leadership. So you think it's juicy, that it's not." So let me buttress my point with sastric evidence. Now, during the period of Lord Ramachandra, at one point in time, Ramachandra asked his assistants, Lakshman, to go check at the gate who has come with a complaint. He went out to the gate, and then he came back. He said, "Nobody." He said, go check again. He went back. He came back to say nobody. He said, "Go now. Whomever that is there, whether he is an animal, you bring him here." So when he went, he saw one dog bleeding on the head. So he said, "Lord Ram wants to see you." Leadership, right? In the Gita, Lord Krishna mentions Yad Yad Acharati Shrishtas Taptat Evataroja. A respectable leader has to be exemplary. You can't say everybody should go and sleep at 10 o'clock and you stay up till 3 o'clock like me. You can't say nobody should eat burger. And then you go out and you buy biscuit to eat. Well, this is not meat. So, back to the point. Lakshman brought Mr. Dog to Lord Ram's chambers, to the courtroom. So Lord Ram asked, "What's the problem? What caused your bleeding?" He said, I was sitting on the road. And one Brahmin, he was coming, and he expected me to quit the road for him, because he's a Brahmin. I'm a a dog. But I was just adamant. I sat there. I have a right to sit there. Why not? Dog was exercising his right. But just because he was a dog, it became a problem for the Brahmin. The Brahmin hit him on the head with a stick and started bleeding. So he came to Lawrence court to complain. So Lawrence ordered the Brahmin to be called. And he came. So they tried the Brahmin. He was indicted, tried, prosecuted. He was found guilty. So, before they passed judgment, they wanted to satisfy, this was the system in those days, they wanted to satisfy the complainant. The dog. So, Lord Ramachandra said, yeah, we found this Brahmin guilty for hitting your head, causing you, this is assault occasioning harm. These were not Ram's words, but in legal system, when you hurt someone bleeding, that's an assault occasioning harm. You use something to hit him, whether it's a stick or a knife or whatever, it's an assault occasioning harm. There are lawyers here. If I'm wrong, you can refute me. So, you know what the dog's response? It shocked everybody in the court. The dog said, let him be, this Brahmin, he should be given the position of the presidency of this ashram. He pointed one ashram nearby. The people were flabbergasted. He committed a crime, assault of criminal harm, and you want him to be promoted, to be given the position of a president of an ashram? Everyone was just confused. Ram understood what he meant. So he said, explain. Explain your point. Clarify. We need some clarification on this. So the dog said, you know why I'm a dog now? I was the president of such an ashram. In my past life, I was the president of such an ashram. But you know what? All of the sinful activities I went on in that community, I partook of the reactions. And the reactions were just so heavy for me. And that's why I became a dog now. And it's like that. So this Brahmin, he thinks he's very smart, wise. Okay, let's see. Get him that position. Let's see his next life. This story is not from Bhakti Vasudev Samhita. This is from the Ramayana. We're talking about responsibilities of the leader. The very verse in the Gita where Krishna mentions about Yajat Acharya Prestras, that is a leadership model that we call ethical leadership. Now there are multifarious leadership models. There are classical leadership models, there are contemporary leadership models. Even democracy is a contemporary leadership model. And so, what happens traditionally in non-profit organizations, spiritual organizations like ISKCON, for instance, what is expected, the leadership that is being practiced there is servant leadership, ethical leadership. Some people who are really trained, who have the skills, they exhibit some type of transformational leadership, inspirational leadership. But all of these, they have different characteristics, different features. So, the bottom line is that a leader has a responsibility to protect his constituency or her constituency. I want to dispute some of the things that Prabhupada put in the purport. But we're not after details of, semantics. We're talking about core ideas, core ideologies. What is expectation? And a leader does not necessarily mean someone who is crowned, someone who is a temple president, someone who is a temple commander, someone who is a GBC. Everyone is a prospective leader. Especially if you are among majority of people who aspire to have children, who aspire to live, or you are a preacher, you are a leader. Bhagavatam explains that if you are not ready if you are not in position to extricate your dependence from the cycle of birth and death, don't be a mother, don't be a father, don't be a demigod, don't be a spiritual master. Oh yeah. Again, this is not from Bhakti Vasudeva Samhita. It's from Shrimad Bhagavatam. So, the bottom line is that we do have responsibility. Whether we come into the movement today, or we've been there for 20, 40 years, 50 years, we have a responsibility. We have to live a life that is worthy of emulation. Not a life worthy of imitation. Sometimes we try to jump the gun, or want to imitate the Paramahamsas. But there's no need for that. Prabhupada chastises people all the time. So I also want to chastise people. I'm not Prabhupada. Therefore, I choose to be friendly with people. When Prabhupada came from the spiritual world, I have been here for millions and millions of days. Therefore, I choose to be friendly with people. Prabhupada had a special commission. He was directed by Krishna. He translated the Vedic literatures into so many Vedic literatures into English in a very readable, understandable language. I'm a mundane scholar. So I need to be friendly with people. Is that correct? So, back to the basics. Leadership. Sometimes we think it's just someone who is been given a position that is a leader. But we are all leaders. So whatever we do, we should think, will this be an example for someone to emulate? Whatever I say, I should think, is this something that is going to inspire, transform some new devotee who is coming to our movement? And Prabhupada was very much a demonstration of what servant leadership is. He served the hippies and the potheads who came to him. And later the potheads and the hippies, they realized, what? He's an elderly person, he is teaching this wonderful philosophy, and yet he's serving us. And Prabhupada never convinced them to be his followers. His actions spoke louder than words. One may say, well, I'm not Prabhupada. Why are we being trained? A woman said, well, we're not on that level. Why are we being trained? The training is supposed to elevate us to that position where we could come to that platform of living above the body, of living above the duties of the body. And see, spiritual life looks very easy, isn't it? Simple, it's a very simple process, isn't it? Isn't it? What about you? What do you say? Spiritual life is a very simple process, isn't it? Devotional service is very simple, isn't it? Yeah, Dixon, what do you think? Spiritual life is a very easy process. What do you think?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Very bad. Spiritual life is a very simple process, isn't it?
Simple process.
Yeah. And you? What do you think? Huh?
Simple, yeah.
Simple. This is my opinion. Spiritual life is the most difficult process. Has any of us lived above the body? Anybody here? I've lived above the body, raise up your hand. But that is the kindergarten philosophy. That is the primary ideology. I'm not this body. It's simple, right? I don't think so. And therefore, what is required is for us to properly understand what we are doing so that we don't take it for granted. I see spiritual life as the most difficult processes on this planet. How is that? You don't eat the cake and have it. You can hurt even a new devotee now, whether you're a Paramahamsa, you hurt a new devotee now, you get the reactions. Prabhupada says the stringent laws of nature. It doesn't mean that you're a sannyasi, you are a Paramahamsa, then you're excused. That is the beauty of spiritual life. That's the beauty. It's a difficult process, but that's the beauty. That no one eats the cake and have it. Therefore, so for some people, we tend to behave like stupid, foolish people. And some people think that they attempt to act as if they're very wise. They're smart. But it's not about rugged wiseness or rugged individualism. It's about systems approach. Systems approach here implies collective venture, collective input for uplifting our individual and collective consciousness. Why do we need the sadhu sangha? Systems thinking. Otherwise, everyone could just lock up themselves in their private rooms and chant 108 rounds. But how long are you going to do that? You may do that for some days, and soon you want association, sadhu sangha. So, all of us, we have a duty to be able to maintain spiritual sanity in our own private lives, and then, radiate that to all and sundry. And we have people who are living that example, who don't see themselves as highly elevated. I'll give you a typical example of Rana Maharaj. I remember when I was in Gitanagar, I visited Gitanagar some years ago, and we are having some program where Rana Maharaj was expected to come and have some program there. And then I think when we were at one of his god sisters' place waiting for him to arrive, and when he came, we paid obeisances. As young brahmacharis, paid obeisances to this person is a Guru Maharaj's, close friend. So it's our spiritual uncle. This people was worshipped as on the same level as our spiritual master. We paid obeisances to him. And you know what he did? He paid obeisances. So I challenged him. That's a matter. You are not helping us. We paid obeisances to you. You are a guru. Are you paying obeisances back? He didn't say anything. The next day he was giving Bhagavatam class. He brought that thing up. He said, yesterday, when I arrived, Vasudeva and other people, other devotees, they paid obeisances to me and I paid obeisances back. And Vasudeva said, why you're not helping us. Why are you doing this to us? Then he gave a whole class about that. And some substance, he said, he paid the business to the super soul. So what is his fault? This is the Acharya. Are we doing that? Or are we expecting everyone to worship us? Because I've been there before you. Hey, you have not paid the business to me this morning. Leadership, ethical leadership, servant leadership, moral reasoning. These should be our watchwords. Because if these are not our watchwords, it's so easy to glide down through apparatus, Vaishnava apparatus. Seva apparatus. Any comments or questions? Can you come up so that I see your face? Don't hide. Okay. Oh, this is my old friend, huh? Yeah, I think I know you in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. How many minutes do we have for comments, for questions and answers? 5 minutes. Okay.
Go ahead, Jim.
Please go ahead.
So, the duty of the leader is to give protection. From Prabhupada's purport, part of the protection is to make sure that the constituency is doing their duties. Parents are doing their duties to their children, the learned are doing their duties to the ignorant. So I often feel like when it comes to leaders, they're like an easy target for all the problems that we're having as constituents. And we often hear about the duty of the leader to the community and how important that is, and it's self-evidently true. But it's always not so clear what is the duty of the constituency to the leader and to the community at whole. And then the leader is just used as like the target board. So that's human nature, I suppose, but I wonder how do we balance this, because when I see the complaints about the GBC or the complaints about the defects of leaders, which may be valid and true, oftentimes I don't see devotees taking responsibility for their own defects in the institution.
That's a good point. Irresponsibility makes us to complain about everyone else. Bhakti Siddhanta says, instead of criticizing the whole world, we should criticize ourselves. That's a good point you raised. So here is a fellow devotee, like every one of us. Is making a point here based on his lived experience, observation. We like to complain about everyone else. We don't complain about ourselves. Where are we going with this type of attitude? Bhakti Siddhanta says we should criticize ourselves. Instead of finding fault with everyone else, we should find fault with ourselves. And even if we do find fault with ourselves, we should not kill ourselves. We should forgive ourselves and move on. We should rectify. See, I have a principle. I call it fallibilistic flexibility. So if we don't understand, we don't admit the fact that we need to live on a platform of fallibilistic flexibility, we will always think that we are Paka. We don't make mistakes. Whatever we say is perfect. Then it becomes like a, phenomenological mindset. You know what I mean? Huh? Aham bogi, sirham, balawan suki. We think we are perfect. But we're not perfect. No one is perfect. The very literature we are reading mentions that we have defects. The senses mislead us. The mind misleads us. We're bound to make mistakes. Why are we not accepting these basic fundamental, defects that we have? Rather, we point our critical fingers to everyone else. Responsibility. Responsibility. It comes from two words. Response, ability. The ability to respond lies in all of us. In most cases, we are reactionary. We are not being proactive. This is our problem. From Indra Gopa to the highest person, this is our problem. I'll become like the politicians, who only find fault with other people to drag them down, and then they put in that position, and then they also go down. So we have to have a change of heart. It's a nice point you made. Thank you very much. So we need to have a balance. And if we follow Bhakti Siddhanta's instructions, that will help a lot. First, we should examine ourselves, make an assessment of ourselves, re-evaluate ourselves, see those areas that we have defects and try to improve. And then you can see clearly. If we have a log in our eyes, how are we going to see? Yeah, we have heavy cataract. How are we going to see clearly? First, we need some surgery, isn't it?